Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you some questions and you're gonna try to answer them, okay?
Okay.
Okay. A company donates 935 pencils to a school. The pencils are divided evenly among 9 classrooms. The rest of the pencils are given to the library. How many pencils were donated to each classroom and to the library? Okay. Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yes, the last part.
The last part? I'm going to read it to you again, okay?
Okay.
A company donates 935 pencils to a school. The pencils are divided evenly among 9 classrooms. The rest of the pencils are given to the library. How many pencils were donated to each classroom and to the library? Okay, how did you figure that out?
Well, I divided 9 by 935, and then I got the multiple that was closest to 9, and it's 9 times 1 gives you 9, and then you bring down the 3, and since nothing is close to 3, I just put 0, and 9 times 0 is 0. So I subtracted that, and it's 3. And then I brought down the 5. And then I found what multiple was closest to 35, and that was 27. So it's 9 times 3 gives you 27. And then I subtracted that, and then I added 1 to the 5 because you can't subtract 5 minus 7. So I borrowed from the 3, and that turns into a 2. So then 2 minus 2 is 0, and 15 minus 7, which I used this to subtract, gave me 8. And since I needed to look for the 8, I added a 0 and I brought it down, which gave me 80. And then the closest multiple of 9 to 81, to 80 is 81. So that's 9 times 9, 81. And then I just subtracted and it gave me the answer of 103.9.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you the next question. Manny owns 83 sets of basketball cards. Each set has exactly 504 cards. What is the total number of basketball cards Manny owns? Do you want me to repeat the question?
No, it's okay.
Okay, how did you figure that out?
I multiplied 504 times 83, but first I multiplied 3 times 4, which gave me 12. So I put the 1 on top of the 0, and then I multiplied 3 times 0, which is 0, but then the plus 1 is 1. And then 8, and then I multiplied 3 times 5, which gave me 15. And then I multiplied 8 times 4, which gave me 32. And here is 8, 16, 24, and 32. And then I added the 3 on top of the 0. So then I multiplied 8 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. And then 8 times 5 is 40. And I wrote it down here. And then I added 2 plus nothing. It's just 2. Then 2 plus 1 is 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. 1 plus 0 is 1, and since it's just the 4 by itself, I just brought down the 4.
Okay.
And 8 times 5 is 40, and I wrote it down here. And then I added 2 plus nothing. It's just 2. Then 2 plus 1 is 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. 1 plus 0 is 1, and since it's just the 4 by itself, I just brought down the 4.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next question. In a town, there are 1,349 families. If there are on average 2 children attending elementary school from each family, and each school can accommodate 220 children, the minimum number of elementary schools needed in the region is?
Can you repeat the last part, please?
I'm going to read all of it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In a town, there are 1,349 families. If there are on average 2 children attending elementary school from each family, and each school can accommodate 220 children, the minimum number of elementary schools needed in the region is? Do you want me to repeat the question?
No, it's okay.
How did you figure that out?
Well, first I divided the 2 and the 1,349. First I started dividing by what was closest to 13, and that was 12, and 2 times 6 is 12. So I subtracted that from the 13, and 3 minus 2 is 1, and 1 minus 1 is 0. And then I brought down the 4, which gave me 14. And then I had to look what was closest to 14, and that was 2 times 7, which is 14. And then I just subtracted that, and it gave me 0. So then I brought down the 9, and what's closest to 9 is 2 times 4, which is 8, and I subtracted that, and it gave me 1. But I added a 0, so I had to add a decimal, and I brought down the 0, which turned into 10, and 2 times 5 is 10, so I just subtracted that, and it gave me 0, and my answer was 674.5. Then to figure out the minimum of schools needed, I multiplied 674.5 times the 220 that children that the schools could accommodate. I multiplied, and then I added, and then I got the answer.